Tonight, the battle comes alive at the legendary Circuit de Spa Francorchamps. Malaysia's finest GT3 drivers are ready to face one of the most dangerous and iconic circuits in motorsport history. From the fearsome Eau Rouge and Raidillon to the flat-out charge through Kemmel Straight, Spa demands bravery, precision, and absolute commitment. BMWs, Ferraris, Mustangs, and Porsches, all prepared for war under the lights. One mistake can end your race instantly. One perfect lap can create history. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the fun race Assetto Corsa Malaysia GT3 series, live from Circuit de Spa Francorchamps. Now then, the lights of Spa shine down on 11 drivers ready for war. On pole position, Abang Maran in the BMW M4 GT3 Evo. A stunning 218.849 puts him at the front of the field tonight. But right beside him, Lee Kang Wei, only 48 thousandths away from stealing pole position. Front row separated by nothing. Row 2 belongs to Adri Mo and Dixon John, 4 BMW monsters occupying the top 4 positions on the grid. Behind them, Chin Hao, Wong brings the thunder of the Ford Mustang GT3 from 5th, with Eric Su right behind in 6th. But hold on, late drama before the race even begins. Darren Koh's Porsche 911 GT3R. Rennsport has suffered a critical issue on the grid. Mechanics desperately tried to revive the car, but the Porsche will not take the start tonight. A cruel end to what was shaping up to be a promising race. So Alvin Wong is promoted to 7th, Koimov Aaron moves into 8th, Rizman starts 9th for Ferrari, Afifut and Azmi takes 10th, and Malvinderjit Singh will line up at the back in 11th. 11 drivers, one legendary circuit, and in just a few moments, Spa Francorchamps will unleash absolute chaos. All 10 drivers now locked on the grid, waiting for the green light at Spa. Oh no! Su jumps the start before the green flag. Trouble for Kangwei. The engine stalls off the start, and John flies past on the left to gain a position immediately. Into turn 1, it's Abang Maran leading the field, with Adri Mo right behind him. Turn 1 is absolute chaos. Azmi gives Wong a little tap into turn 1, but with traffic this tight and nowhere to go, that's racing. As long as it doesn't ruin anyone else's race. The back marker's now charging towards the famous Eau Rouge, a fast downhill sweep before climbing up Raidillon. Su attacks Aaron with a clean move through the Eau Rouge to Raidillon transition. Smart use of momentum there. Now blasting down the Kemmel Straight. Kangwei, Wong, and Man are all chasing John. 4 cars charging flat out towards the heavy braking zone of Les Combs. Kangwei goes to the outside, trying to pass Wong Privateer through turn 6. Kangwei runs slightly wide there. Wong Privateer holds the inside into turn 7 and successfully defends the position. Nicely defended by Wong Privateer. John loses grip through Bruxelles and runs wide. That mistake is definitely going to cost him lap time. Here in Bruxelles, you absolutely cannot miss the braking point here. Otherwise, you'll go straight wide into the runoff. 2 BMW M4s of Singh and Wong carefully work through double gauche, trying not to lose traction, and more importantly, speed on corner exit. Looks like Wong gets a better exit there. He might have a chance to attack Singh on the next section. And he goes for the attack. Wong dives down Singh's right into Les Vanyas, but all 4 wheels looked outside the white line there. Azmi loses traction and slides into the gravel, and Aaron takes full advantage to breeze past him. The chasing pack now passes through Paul Frere, but there's already a significant gap separating them from the leaders. Man follows closely behind Kangwei's rear bumper, like a tiger stalking its prey. Miran and Mo now flying through Blanchimont, battling for the race lead with only 2 tenths between them. Mo is right on the rear bumper. Can he find a way past Moran? Contact! There's contact between the leaders. Contact between John and Wong Privateer at the same corner, and that sends John sideways. Disaster for John! From fighting in P3, he drops all the way back into the rear pack as the field streams past him. What a carnage in the chicane! One of the most dangerous sections at Spa. Heavy braking, sharp direction changes, aggressive curbs, and that contact right there proves how easy it is for things to go wrong. 5 cars battling for position into La Source. With such a tight corner, another carnage could happen at any moment if they don't navigate it carefully. Luckily, everyone gets through the corner flawlessly. Marin still leads the race, showing absolutely no sign of surrender as he charges down the Kemmel Straight. The back markers now speeding down the Kemmel Straight. Mo, Kangwei, and Man carefully pass through turn 8 at Bruxelles. John now down in P8, but he looks ready to make a move here. He gets past Aaron cleanly, but he misses the corner on entry. Looks like the tires are starting to lose grip now. Aaron fights back immediately and retakes the position. This section, drivers must carefully balance braking, steering, and throttle control through these flowing corners. One small mistake here may not cause a crash immediately, but it can destroy your speed for the next sector. This section is all about rhythm, precision, and maintaining momentum. The cars may look calm from the outside, but inside the cockpit, the drivers are constantly fighting for grip and stability. The chasing group now enters Les Fangs. At this point, everybody is trying to brake as late as possible without accidentally meeting the barriers face to face. These cars are dancing left and right through the corner. One wrong move here, and your race engineer will suddenly become your therapist. Back markers are now entering Sector 3 of Spain, the section where courage matters just as much as speed. Fast corners, narrow margins, and absolutely no time to relax here. One tiny mistake in this sector can follow you all the way to the finish line. Marin storms through Blanchimont and heads into the final chicane to complete lap 2, leaving the rest of the field behind without mercy. Why is Moran so fast even through the slow corners? Does he have a stomach ache or something? Does he need the toilet? I cannot believe the speed he's carrying through this section. He approaches La Source without a hint of hesitation, completely confident through the corner, taking turn 1 like it's nothing. Even Takumi Fujiwara would be shocked seeing Moran glide smoothly through the corner without a single drift. Mo and Kangwei in P2 and P3 get through La Source cleanly and immediately push hard towards Eau Rouge to hunt down the race leader. Mo attacks Eau Rouge and Redillon aggressively, but that sends him slightly off track, something that can happen very easily at Eau Rouge and Redillon if you push too hard. Precision is absolutely critical through this section. Even the smallest mistake can cost huge amounts of time. Meanwhile, at the back of the field, John and Azmi are battling aggressively, both desperate to gain positions. Azmi, using the slipstream, starts attacking John at the Kemmel Straight, goes inside on turn 5, and successfully overtakes John. What a move by Azmi! A classic slipstream overtake! Simple, effective, and absolutely satisfying to watch every single time. Now in Bruxelles, the back marker's fighting. John is sliding again. The grip on that car is completely disappearing now. Did he accidentally bring wet tires into dry conditions? Or maybe the suspension alignment was damaged after that lap 1 chicane contact. He's really struggling to recover positions now. Oh no! He's sliding again! This is becoming a serious problem for John now. Too many mistakes from John now. It really looks like he can barely control the car anymore. Azmi now making a move on Aaron, but Aaron defends the position beautifully and shuts the door on Azmi. Azmi goes for the attack again, but he loses the car. Completely out of control. That mistake may have ruined Azmi's race, and Sue immediately takes the opportunity to attack. It will all be wasted if the opportunity is not taken. Azmi and Sue racing side by side like best friends walking while holding hands together. But this is racing. Sooner or later, somebody has to come out in front. And that somebody is Sue, driving past Azmi and leaving behind all memories of their side-by-side friendship. Azmi tries to fight back into the chicane, but unfortunately for him, Sue gives absolutely no chance. Marin through turn 1 on lap 3, steadily cruising while eating sunflower seed, still leading the pack, leaving a bigger gap between him and P2. With equal BOP, this speed is pure driver skill. Meanwhile, in P2, Mo is using every bit of skill and technical precision possible, searching for the shortest racing line to close the gap to the race leader, which is very difficult to control at that speed. Wong charges through Eau Rouge and blasts past Aaron for the position. Aaron, shocked by the sudden move, makes a mistake and runs wide at Raidillon. Aaron tries to fight back on the Kemmel straight, but he can only close the gap, not enough to make the overtake happen. Man is chasing Conway relentlessly, never taking his eyes off the target. This guy is absolutely thirsty for speed. Conway dives to the inside but misses the breaking point and runs wide. Man tries to take advantage and close the gap, but unfortunately cannot complete the overtake. They continue battling through turn 10, but Conway gets the better racing line and exits speed. The midfield pack now through turn 8, and Sue tries to make a move on Aaron right in the middle of the corner. He touches the rear and loses control. Sue is forced onto the grass, and Azmi wastes no time at all, immediately taking the opportunity to gain the position. Sue touches the rear of Azmi's car, causing Azmi to slightly lose control. Sue and Singh both gain positions after the contact, but Sue carries too much speed into the corner and runs wide. He recovers just in time to block Singh, but that allows Azmi to fight back through and steal a position once again. So, Azmi again, using the classic slipstream overtake, casually driving past Sue like it was nothing. Conway still refusing to surrender the position to Man, but at the same time struggling to close the gap to Mo ahead. He's stuck between attacking and defending, one of the hardest situations in racing. The mental pressure he's experiencing right now must be through the roof. And that is one of the worst feelings in racing. Marin now approaching the end of lap 4. Untouchable, invincible. At this point, I swear he's listening to Eurobeat while driving. That adrenaline must be pumping through the car right now. The second midfield group, Wong Privateer, Wong, and Aaron, now flying through Blanchimont. Whoa! Aaron with his late braking, charges through the track and overtaking Wong. There's so much drama happening in the midfield today. Honestly, this race is more entertaining than anything else you could be watching right now. Man now heading towards Eau Rouge, but wait, he's slowing down. Is there a problem with the car? Looks like the car is out of fuel. What an absolutely heartbreaking way for the race to end. He fought so hard to defend his position only to be betrayed by the fuel tank in the end. The back markers successfully survived the chicane and are now charging into the final lap of the race. Sue dives to the inside into turn 1 and successfully overtakes Azmi. But Azmi fights back immediately and takes the position back once again. There has been so much action between these two today. Honestly, their battle is what makes this race so entertaining to watch. They're overtaking each other back and forth through almost every corner. This is unbelievably fun to watch. But Singh doesn't want to be left behind. Using the slipstream, he blasts past Sue, and Sue has no choice but to surrender the position. Sue pushes too hard and runs off track. Sue makes contact with Singh, forcing him into the gravel, losing traction and slowing him down badly. Sue's aggressiveness sends him onto the gravel at the right side of the track. He's trying desperately to catch Azmi, but it just isn't enough. Moran now through double gauche, completely alone on the circuit, with nobody able to challenge him. He has absolutely no pressure now. Even a small mistake won't matter because he knows the victory is already in his hands. The only thing he needs to catch now is the light because nobody is faster than him, except light itself. Mo in P2 is using every last bit of speed and determination, chasing Moran through the final section of the track. Followed by Conway in P3. Even though his engine stalled at the start of the race, it clearly didn't stop him. He fought back brilliantly and still secured a podium position. Marin flies through Blanchimont and charges towards the chicane, the final obstacle standing between him and victory. And he clears the chicane flawlessly. With just 200 meters left to the finish line, and he crosses the checkered flag, followed by Mo in P2. And Conway completes the podium in P3. What an incredible drive! Dominant, consistent, and absolutely untouchable from start to finish. Congratulations to Meran, Mo, and Kangwei on a fantastic podium finish tonight. Right behind the podium finishers, Wong Privateer secures P4, with Aaron bringing the car home in P5. Great recovery drives from Wong and Azmi. Wong finishes P6 from P7, while Azmi climbs from P11 to P7. Su and Singh complete the race in P8 and P9 respectively today, after a long and dramatic battle throughout the race. John started strong in P4, but after the lap 1 chicane incident, his pace dropped and he finished in P10. It has just been announced by Race Control that several penalties were handed out after the race due to track limits and contact incidents during battles throughout the race. Mo, Aaron, and Wong received 5-second penalties, while Rizman was handed a 10-second penalty for repeated corner cutting, exceeding track limits, or causing minor avoidable contact. Meanwhile, Su was given a drive-through penalty after Race Control determined he was involved in a jump start during the race start procedure. Those penalties have now officially changed the final race classification. And here is the final classification after penalties and post-race adjustments. Meran keeps the victory in dominant fashion, followed by Kangwei in P2 and Mo completing the podium in P3. Wong Privateer secures a strong P4 finish, while Azmi climbs brilliantly into P5 after starting near the back of the grid. Aaron drops to P6, followed closely by Singh in P7 and Wong in P8. John, after the lap 1 chicane incident and ongoing car struggles, finishes down in P9. Su receives a drive-through penalty and ends the race in P10. And Rizman unfortunately finishes last after suffering fuel issues late in the race. Meanwhile, Darren Coe never started the race after his car suffered technical problems before lights out. What a night of racing here at Spa-Francorchamps! Drama, overtakes, contact, penalties, heartbreak, and incredible battles from start to finish. This race had absolutely everything. Thank you for watching the Fun Race Assetto Corsa Malaysia GT3 series. We hope you enjoyed the action as much as we did bringing it to you. Until next time, drive safe, race hard, and we'll see you again on the next grid.